Yes.
Which were all
those
done.
Ones were designed
I'm coming. They were done that way.
Yes, those were
go back and see. If go back and see, and because even highways hasn't got the capacity. We don't even have the capacity. You understand? And we can't claim we created the capacity the last week. You haven't. I'm begging you, Minister. We have to. I'm not. Listen.
I agree with you.
We are together. Listen.
Yes, I'm saying a good conversation, but we need to find improvements that are being done, gradual as they may be, but they are being done. And I'm saying that,
Minister, the fact that you haven't done 44% in percentage terms, all right, is progress. So nobody is fighting. I'm saying that my problem with you is that we have a problem with them.
Yes.
And we sacked them, and you came. We wanted to see something more different, a proper reset. This is not reset.
Right.
This is not reset. You are practically just also justifying what you are doing by what you are also inheriting because of the methodology we are deploying. These projects, I agree with Minister that time, and you see, they are politicians. They also need to, NGM has only practically one term. So I can relate a bit to some of the agencies. But there are other control mechanisms to ensure the efficiencies. Look at our contractors, fantastic guys. Oswald, fantastic guy. Look at, we have built local capacity solidly. The truth is, all of them cannot carry all these major projects for all that well, they are big 5 or big 6 or whatever. You know, depending on the region you go. Jasmo is sitting there in the western region, and then he and this other guy there. So I mean, there are limitations to what all of them can do. You may end up with the same contractors, but when you change your procurement strategy, you'll be able to shave off significant portions of the cost. If what I did in GHA then, in that analysis, is anything to go by, then I bet that the roads that you are building today should be able to give you 2 times that road. But when you do design and build EPCRs, there's so much risk. You know that those people who took the contracts those days, today that we have changed the dollar situation, they are getting hit. When you are pricing that EPC thing, you have to make provisions for so many variables, which need not be. If you are properly designed, properly priced, competitively procured against rates. All right? Again, rates against time, against a rate card benchmark, so that when there's a shift on the rate card, you know that it's applicable to a situation. Nobody will come and say, oh, we did it at 16, today it is 10, I've lost money. No. So I beg you, we have a problem with what has happened. And Martin, I hear you on the 44%, you know, but in economic terms, it's not every time that we discuss ratios. Because when you look at this, sometimes you also have to look at the absolute terms, all right? They have had an accumulated arrears of 20 billion. If we are talking about 44% in just this contract on 55, we're also talking roughly around 20 billion. If there's inefficiency in that 20 billion, it's just as good as what has happened. We shouldn't encourage them. I'm just saying that when we just talk about it in ratio terms, it's easy to hide real facts, because we're not still talking about another 20 billion of a single source procurement structure, which I have proven to you that has proven to be inefficient. Then the other bit, last bit, Minister, you are talking about 20 billion. You have been one of the most intentional, as far as policy is concerned, over roads. Very intentional. You want to do big push. You've announced, you've sounded, and you are putting budget to it. The people who you've inherited it from gave you weight. You have spent X billion, whatever. Did they do what they did in compliance with the Public Financial Management Act, which actually requires full compliance with budgetary limits? Are you criminalizing, are you prosecuting people for the breach of the Public Financial Management Act, committing government beyond budget? I'm not hearing you say that. Because if you are not correcting that, that means you are planning to do that in future. Because that's what you've been doing. Setekpe led this PFMAT because he wanted to correct these things. So you don't come and inherit an expenditure or an arrears that is not planned for. It's not that you don't have a dedicated fund. So a message right on that particular one is government money anyway. But people have breached the Public Financial Management Act. There's a budget ceiling and commitment that the former minister was supposed to make within those years. Did he comply or did he breach it?
Okay.
Did he go through a process of proper environment to actually move CAPEX from one to the other? You and I know that the answer is no. What are you doing about it?
Okay, Honorable Sini will have to leave us at some point. So you
that's why
respond
I'm finishing quickly.
So respond to the issues.
Look, it's a crime. You should be in jail for 6 months.
I agree with you that
people should be go to jail.
I agree with you
that we don't commit this country recklessly.
The PFMA was not respected in the past, and when we did the audit of some of the areas, it was heavily flagged, and there were some of the reasons why some of the claims were rejected. And you find it in the, Auditor General's report, which the Deputy Finance Minister even recently highlighted on the floor of Parliament. For not, going by the PFMA, some, claims were actually not honored by us when we're doing the payments. Now, you made reference to, some of the contracts that we inherited and how we could have, allowed new contractors to do the existing lots and all of that. But you see...
No, I mean, first thing is correct evaluating.
Yes, evaluating. I agree.
Efficiency in that pricing.
I agree. So what happened was that, I think my friend Mesha spoke about it earlier. Government had an obligation that it didn't meet. And the contractors were not on site. And so under that circumstance, when you inherit a government, you take on assets and liabilities. Under that circumstance, you were torn between cancelling the contract, like you said, advertising the remaining lot, and facing, prosecution. I mean, what do you call it? Legal suits, lawsuits from the contractors. You were faced with that. Or you were faced with doing the practical thing, which we did, of assessing what was left and determining the capacity of the contractor and the willingness of the contractor not to even pursue interest, that for delayed payment, so that they could go. So we simply chose the practical way of resolving a problem that we met, so that we didn't have to prolong
the leakage is in the pricing.
Yes,
my brother, that's where the matter is. So I've evaluated that.
So I'm saying that what we did was, for example, to learn lessons from it and also to refer it for other assessment.
Okay.
But when you look at the contracts that we package ourselves, the new contracts that we package ourselves, and that's why the point I made earlier, that I agree with you, that when we do part of the engineering works and we do not do this yellow book contracts and design and build that the contractors really love, we save the taxpayers' money. Because the problem, however, is that we do not have enough engineers around the country to do this.
Because politicians are just staffing the place with administrative people.
In this particular case, I'm telling you that most, or if not all, in fact, no, I can even say all.
It's
because
all
there's no, apart from the one that we took over, there's no, in fact, some of the contractors today, the excuse they use for not going to site and working on some sections is because they say they don't have designs. Because the designs have to come from our engineers. We have instructed that our regional engineers, our engineers at the headquarters must lead the designing of these projects.
Right.
In some cases, yes, it has delayed even the progress of work, because we want to control the design, because we know when we do that, we reduce the cost of the projects. We just don't give the contractors the blank check to cash on us. Now, that I'm sure is going to guarantee efficiency.
Then, is it the suggestion that the design is being done post the awards?
No. I mean,
that'll be the effective.
No. What I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that, you see, some of the things that we did to fast track these projects, I have already explained to you. Some we finished the designs before even the contractors moved to site.
Right.
Others were already engineered roads, and so it didn't really need much engineering. Maybe you just needed to widen the width, and so that was already done. And then,
but those are also roads engineered by contractors. This is the problem.
No, not all of them. Some of them are already engineered by the contractors.
While you round up,
so the point has to be made that we did everything to improve upon the situation that we inherited, and the facts are there for any fair-minded person to look at. The assurance we give is that we are not saying we have arrived. We are saying that we will continue to improve upon the situation that we came to meet. We will not rest on our oars until we are satisfied that there is efficient and judicious use of the public funds. And we will at every point in time subject ourselves to open scrutiny. And we commend the Fourth Estate for this attempt at scrutinizing what we are doing. all we seek from them is fairness. All we seek from them is an open-minded conversation that will also take into consideration the efforts that we are putting in to improve upon, the things that we inherited. We are all concerned, but like I said, when the conversation starts by labeling, an improvement as a condemnation, for example, the ministry that has become, a factory for producing soy sauce. When the facts doesn't support that, when it's pointed to you, humbly, acknowledge that. Because when you also point things to us that we find wrong, we will also humbly acknowledge and like we are doing this one and make progress. So I think that going forward, we must be guided by the things that we all say and the things that we all do, all in the interest of Ghana and the love that we have for it and the expectation of the better things we all expect each other to do. I can assure you, His Excellency President Mahama is committed to executing these projects within 24 months, and by the end of 2027, we should see most of these roads being completed. And maybe finally, Alfred, the other issue of costs per kilometer, has come up. And I'm very happy with the way my brother Senor has handled this matter. I mean, cost per kilometer is not simplistically, dealt with the way, again, my friends at the Fourth Estate are dealing with it. I mean, they take the contract sum and they simply divide it by the number of kilometers, without taking into consideration if it's a single lane road, if it's a dualized road, if the terrain is the same. I mean, they just miss all the factors that are considered in calculating cost per kilometer and make it look like it's a simple arithmetic of divider by. I mean, it's not the case. I mean, with all due respect, and I think that they have to acknowledge that. And if you look around the world, I mean, the cost per kilometer is not fixed anywhere. Right. But there are projections between $500,000 to, in some cases, $10 million.
Again,
cost per kilometer.
This is where design comes.
Permitted.
This is where design comes.
Yes.
There are different ways to get to the same destination.
Yeah.
If you decide, as a contractor, if I'm the one giving the chance, I would go to the place that makes me get a lot more money, a bigger contract, because you give me design and build.
Thank you.
But sometimes it's okay to go around the mountain. Right. An extra half a kilometer will save us and try to break through a mountain and create a tunnel, which will cost you more. You understand? So that's why we, as a country, must lead that charge. You need to make the right investment in the Highways Authority, the Roads Authority that has still not been, that you pass a law and you can't implement today. Urban roads is sitting directly, it's a department under the ministry. It's not a professor.
There's a question to you about when the road tolls are going to be implemented. Quite a number of people have.
Our commitment is to reintroduce it this year. And to be honest with you, Alfred, one of the reasons why it is delaying is because we are doing competitive bidding. Okay. It is the major reason why it is delaying. In fact, it has taken us from last year. We are almost at the tail end of it.
I hope it doesn't serve as a source of traffic again.
No, the intention is to make it.
There's this point I want us to clarify. The matter just 30 seconds.
So thank you so much.
Please, let Mr. Sano, please.
I don't think that you will have anything that I need to respond to. So.
No, but there's a point which I think is important.
Okay. Right. All right.
I think that one of the key lessons we can pick out of this is that our political class should be cautious. And I align with Lawyer Mesa when he raised certain issues. We should be careful not to weaponize or demonize technical terms and concepts because it will come to haunt us. And I think that even in the discussion today, we have continued to use the issue of single source in a manner that is likely to continue to cause confusion.
Yes.
Because that is why he says we will then conclude that, the 50 billion is an increase in corruption. Mm-hmm. But you have legal basis on which you can do single source. Mm-hmm. And I want to encourage the ministry, just go and tag, because there are 6 options. So every single source you have had to do, is it under A, B, C, D, E, or F? So that all of us will say, it falls under the law. So that we don't have this banter of, corruption is increasing. Because it will continue that way if we don't cure it now. Precisely. I want to bring that also to what my brother Senyo was saying. And saying, listen, it appears to me therefore that let's look at the legal framework. If there are efficiencies or risks that we have identified, build it into the law so that we cure it. So the abuse that the government was talking about, let's say under NDC, what is that abuse we are frightened about? How do we work it into the law so that we are able to cure it? So I like the issue of efficiency. Let our law take on board the issues that came up in the paper. Yeah. Maybe that's a discussion we should have on a platform. Bring it back, make sure the law covers it, the LI covers it, and going forward we can deal with the issue. Otherwise, these politicians, with the energy they are showing in the middle here, will continue to knock our heads together.
Parties, don't trust them.
There are two parties. They'll continue to knock our heads. So Lawyer Mensah has a genuine point when he says that the way in which we spoke about it in the past, it may be on political platforms we thought was, and by the way, it will come to the conflict of the same thing. When politicians begin to, maneuver around and weaponize terms, then we start knocking our heads. So let's look at this much more critically. If there's a way to cure the law to make sure that we all understand single source means this, it's being done legitimately by this government. Put the clauses that justify each of them. So whether it's 108, we can clearly.
But the truth is, I said, the only thing that's moving this government on this thing is time. They have to do it before their GM is out. It's the only thing. Let me tell you what happened to me. Let me tell you what happened to me. So after my first term, then it was towards the end of my term, I started my movement because I had understood the thing. And then the 2020, they sent me a letter that I'm no more a board member. All right.
When was this?
Yeah, this was in 2020, early part of 2020, because the term is 3 years. Yeah. Then they wrote to PEF again that they wanted me, and PEF said they still were nominating me back onto the board. It took them 3 years to write the letter to appoint me. They inaugurated a whole new board without me because that nonsense would not be allowed to continue.
What does Honorable Suini have to respond to so that quickly?
No. I'm just saying the political talk about it. Yes, let's stick to the legal definition. That is what Lawyer Mensah is saying. I'm saying he's right. Let's agree that we'll go back and look at single source. As you put the number of contracts you're awarding, just identify which part of the law it comes under. So that when Fourth Estate is writing their thing, they can then refer to the law. All of us will be consistent. Then we don't have that confusion. And then Lawyer Mensah will not come back and say that they had the text, but they intentionally, ignore the text and we're trying to suggest that we are being corrupt. Can the politicians just agree on this for us so that we have a cleaner understanding of the issues going forward? I think that's important.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And I appreciate that. I agree with him. I mean that, look, sometimes it is not us, the politicians. I must be honest with you. I have had these conversations, not on record, on set, with many people that sometimes the understanding differ. I mean, I was told by my grandfather that when you are speaking to the public, 3 different categories of people are listening to you. Those smarter than you are listening to you. Those you are smarter than are listening to you, and maybe those that you have equal acumen, IQ, are also listening to you. 3 categories of people, and each of them will interpret what you say differently, and they're entitled to their understanding of what you say. So sometimes it is not more about what we the politicians say, but it is also about how what we say is interpreted. Please. Let me finish. So for example, when we talk about sole sourcing, and we spoke about sole sourcing, you read our text. Yes, I mean there are extremes where you can say that people went and said, "Oh, we'll cancel it." But when you read the text communicates differently from maybe what somebody was expecting.
So you can define what the abuse is.
So exactly, we define what the abuse is.
What is it?
I mean, for example, we talked about the abuse, the one-time use of it. The fact that
it's not available. What's the abuse? They need to define it.
Before now, it was the norm. When it is supposed to be an exception. So it was the norm.
You see, but that is difficult. So this is what we say 44% is still almost a norm and not an exception.
No, I mean 20 billion.
Okay, hold on.
Let's listen to one person.
It's still like a norm. It's not an exception.
Look, when you take the Auditor General reports in the past, they made references to some of these, sole source contracts or single source contracts that were found to have been inflated. We use that in our communications, and we said that we're going to make sure that it is used sparingly. It is used in exceptional
they couldn't
circumstances as the law prescribes.
And
we are making the effort. I'm not saying we have gotten there, but clearly there is evidence from all the narration that we are making the effort at actually ensuring that it becomes an exception, even if this exception, if this exception is not effort enough. I agree, but it will be unfair to ignore that effort, even if it is not enough.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Because this is, if you reference the text and the interpretation given to it, this is page 6, the specific text in the manifesto. And I think it is important to note the enforcement of the compliance with the PP, that's a public procurement law, to stop the abuse. And you asked about the definition and of sole sourcing and
I said that the abuse is when it becomes the norm instead of the exception.
Right.
When you have 100 and all 100 is single source, then you say that is.
But it's not the case. It's not the case that everything the old government was done.
I'm telling you,
quite a number of
from 2021.
The records are from 2021. From 2021,
it took me a while to come back.
So maybe you don't know.
I don't know about that.
I was hoping that you would have taken a cue from.
I think 2 years suspension.
I'm not disagreeing with him.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And stop the politicking.
Thank you.
My brother.
Now,
Because you see, are you moving on?
yes, we have to.
Very well, no problem. This man, I will get him.
I wanted one comment, 30 seconds.
Quickly,
You know,
because
this
you have to-
matter of dedicated funds or not dedicated funds, I thought that it makes sense that when you have dedicated funds, it's easier to pay. But this statement by Mercer is saying that is the general pool, is all government of Ghana funds and you can pay. It doesn't.
But the GOD 1%. What's the dedicated
This is
fund
public
about?
finance. This is public finance.
Yes.
I'm saying, you see,
Yes.
the allocations are made.
Yes.
Before we had APFA come and all that come in. In all honesty, we're still doing roads.
Yeah.
So it's an intentional allocation within
Precisely.
your budget.
Yes.
You can decide to use APFA for roads. You can decide not to use it for roads, use it for something else.
And Parliament has decided now that it will be used for
so
roads.
it is inconsequential.
You know, that is where
the comfort you get,
Thank you.
is actually the allocation of stream. What we are saying is that the decision is a government decision, all coming from government budget.
Yes, but you see, when you have the dedicated funds, it's easier so that you know that, listen, we have X amount of money. So anytime a contractor presents a certificate, you know that, okay, there's money, you pay. But when it's the general pool, it's not the same. You remember
That's
when
why you are giving a commencement
NDC
certificate.
came,
That's why
they
they
found
said
six- there's a whole process. No, let's come.
Thank you.
Wait. When NDC came, there were 6 projects. The gang of 6, they called. Accra, this Medina, the other.
Yeah.
You see, they didn't see where to find money to pay. It was difficult.
You fund it from the revenue of government.
Those ones you are seeing,
Yeah.
they are required under the law.
Thank you.
You must tell the country what you will use the APFA for.
Why you say alpha? That's the annual budget funding amount. That's the oil money.
The oil money.
Yes.
That's why.
In fact, with those instances,
Yes, so it's
thank
better.
you.
So what
Thank
I'm
you.
saying is that when you have the dedicated, I think it is better. Yes. It's easier.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate it. And the Public Interest Accountability Committee always looks into how the ABFA is used. So it's one that. But thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. The Honourable Alhassan Suini has had to leave us to attend to other matters as well. But a number of your messages, some of which I've asked in questions as well, so we've got answers to them. Kojotu Mboafo, the Financial Intelligence Center boss, as the CEO, sent a message. He says, Alfred, as a civil engineer of 33 years, I sincerely believe that it is improper for road and designs to be done by the client agencies. The practice should be projects advertised, consultants hired, designs done, contracts advertised, consultants hired under proper procurement procedures to hire contractors to do the job under proper supervision on behalf of the client agency. The client agency should not be in the business of supervising their own projects. When medical officers are ill, they don't do surgeries themselves. Even the most accomplished lawyers hardly represent themselves in court. Please ask Martin Bebu, he will tell you. That's a fact, gentlemen. I have 2 lawyers here, so they concur. In fact, 3. Yeah, 2. Okay, all right. This one also here says, Alfred, some of us are getting. Oh, is it the usual politics as usual towards the winning 2028 general elections? When are we going to have one voice towards nation building? It says, you just left power and couldn't see the mess in your backyard, but now seeing and pointing out the so-called wrongs in this government, you say, Papa Bishu, thank you for your message. This one here says that we should all see what is wrong to be wrong and what is right to be right. We have to ask these questions that your guest and together with yourself are asking this morning. I agree that there has been some improvement as compared to what was the case, but there must be clarity on what the administration means by the word abuse. Emmanuel sends me a message from Procurement to me. Thank you very much for your message. Alfred, your network is up. No, I think it's been restored now. We're back streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. It was not our problem. I think it was the network provider, and so that has been restored. Franklin Kujo, the founding president of Imani Africa, says, good morning to you, Alfred, and your esteemed guest. I think that this morning's conversation has brought some level of clarity and explanation to the issues at play. What I would rather also be finding out going forward is what commitment has been made to reduce the level of contracts and amounts that will be allocated under the single source procurement. I think that we should be gearing towards a minimal dependence on the single source as a means of giving contracts. I think that's what you want to say. Thank you very much for your message. This one also here says that thank you for the clarity that you have brought to single source and sole source in the position of the law. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, Senor, and then also Japa Mesa and then also Mesen for that clarity as well. It's important. Thank you very much. We're going to go into the next issue. But before we do that, let me remind you of why the Gold Coast University or the University of the Gold Coast is the place to be. Now, whether you are aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations and supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship and innovation, or business intelligence or analytics, or you want to advance through our dual MBA or Chartered Manager MBA, University of the Gold Coast gives you options that match your vision. And if you are next in line in terms of your vision and your dream to pursue MSc International Relations, Communications and International Marketing, International Laws, Security and Diplomacy, Accounting and Finance, Human Resource Management, an LLM in International Law, Security and Diplomacy, or an MA in Biblical Studies, Practical Theology, the pathway is open at the University of the Gold Coast because they have curated all the packages that fit your schedule, your lifestyle, and then also your work schedule. It's important that you take note of this. Call them on these two numbers. Tell them that you heard me talk about them on the key point. They would give you a special package to pursue all these programs that I have just told you. 0542 889 045, 0542 889 045, or 0263 888 555, 0263 888 555. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. And we came to you with a package to Dubai last year for 5 days. A number of you came back with some good experiences, and I'm talking about the Ocean Bells Travels and Tours. They are organizing the next trip to China, and this is a business trip that to explore the opportunities in China for 11 days with a package that starts from $1,555 for 11 days in China. Call them on this number for some more, 0242 037 280, 0242 037 280. Or you can go onto the Play Store or the App Store to download the Ocean Bells app. This week, the minority in Parliament says, together with some other civil society organizations, they are going to petition Shraj over the president's continuous use of Ibrahim Mohammed's jet, and they relate it to all the issues regarding the Daman mines and matters arising. Take a listen to the minority, and then we'll zoom in straight into the next phase of the conversation. Take a look.
Ghana is watching two things happen at once. It is watching the Damai gold mine being arranged for the president's brother. And it is watching that the same brother's private jet carried the president on official state visits, free of charge, we are told, while his companies accumulate hundreds of millions of dollars in state-linked contracts. These are not separate stories. They are the same story. They share an author, a beneficiary, and a constitutional problem. Taken together, they present the most serious conflict of interest question to confront any Ghanaian presidency since the Republic was born.
Oh, so that's the minority earlier in the week, giving an indication of what they intend to do going forward. But this is what the Constitution says about conflict of interest. That's an area where they are looking into. But let me acknowledge the presence of Dr. Joshua Zato. He is a senior lecturer, political science department, University of Ghana, Legon. And he's dressed as a warrior today.
Thank you.
You are putting up a challenge.
I thought he was coming in his gloves, so I was coming to meet him. Anyway, good morning to you and thanks for coming.
You are the Sergio Ramos.
Yes. You are the defender general of the NDC. Exactly. Anyway, so thank you. I was actually built to come at 9 o'clock and I came at 9 o'clock.
I think that I put out the information there.
Yeah, so I'm not late in
welcome.
coming. The second thing is that this is very important. I'm a big fan of the big push. I really love it. And it's actually working in my cause. I want to say that. I just whispered something to the Minister of Roads, Deputy Minister. But it's a part of the road from Hen to Jeffries, which is the west part of the road in that whole place. If west is Sisala, yes, from 1 to 10, if 10 is the west and 1 is the best, that section of the road from Hen to Jeffries will be 11. Statistically not possible. But so what? But the contractor is not there. Okay. The contractor is on all the roads, but that particular road.
That's where you come from. That's why they are looking for you. Yeah, they are looking for you.
To do what?
That's why they are taking your part out.
Thank you very much.
I don't know whether that contract is a single source or so.
Thank you.
But that contractor, so please, whichever contractor is in charge, Minister Charles Posen is my senior, I'm begging you, and the Deputy Minister just left, everybody, make sure you get that contractor to go to that route and get it done. You know, we also deserve better routes. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
In fact, Dr. Jesse Kwam, I'm sorry I missed your message, but it says, Alfred, please, point of interest question. Does the ministry have a plan for an alternative route construction for Accra-Kasua Road? Mm-hmm. Can there be a bridge across the Wager Dam or a BRT? Yeah, I think that's, but I'll pass it on to the minister. But this is a road you know quite well.
Yes.
And this suggestion is the one to consider very quickly.
I'm not an engineer, so I cannot, proffer any view on that.
Great.
I guess that the technical people have to answer that question, whether, that is something that is possible.
Okay, thank you very much. But listening to, now to the substantive issue, listening to the minority in Parliament, is there an issue to now invoke the attention and the powers of Shraj to look into regarding this matter that keeps coming up, the president's use of his brother's private jet, and which the minister in charge of government communications for the Kwachu also explained here that it's a temporary arrangement because of the absence of the presidential jet. And so the moment the process for procuring a new one is then done and we have it, then they'll resort to the use of what the state has procured. What's the issue there?
But I thought that we were told that the presidential jet that the state owns was in pristine condition. We're not told that. Only a few years ago that the presidential jet, the Ghana government-owned presidential jet, was in pristine condition.
Then last year we saw a report of the state in which the jet was in.
I'm not so sure
then,
whether that report holds any water. Because
really?
Yes.
Why?
How would you take an aircraft to France for servicing? And if it's not been put in a shape that makes it airworthy, accept it back in Accra? How is that even possible?
How did he get here?
How did he get here? You spent money on the plane. You took it out to France. This is an aircraft, though, not a Tiku. You took it out for service to be fixed into a state that will make it airworthy. They've completed that work. They've brought you the aircraft. You have accepted it. And you turn around and say, what? That the fuel tanks are still corroded. Is that the suggestion? But it goes back to what Edem was saying. How we play our politics in this country. We all know that this aircraft, the one that the government of Ghana owns, really, even at the time that President Kufuor was procuring aircrafts, his plan was to procure two. A bigger aircraft for long-haul travel and a small one, the Falcon that we have now, for short-haul travels. The kinds of things that we said to bastardize the whole procurement, to the point we used it for politics. And NDC won the 2008 election, came into office and abandoned the bigger aircraft and only sought to continue the procurement of the smaller one. We've used it until 2021. We realized that there were shortfalls in how that aircraft served the presidency. So a proposal was put up to procure a bigger aircraft so that that could be used for long-haul travel, and this can serve short-haul. After all, if you have to use it for short-haul travel, the kind of pressure that you put on it wouldn't be as much as when you have to, use it for both short and long-haul. We had the kinds of things that our friends said in this country. Now, fast forward, new president comes, and all of a sudden, the aircraft that we're told was in pristine condition is no longer fit for purpose, which just came from servicing in France, can no longer fly. And so the president has to use his brother's plane on official duties. Ordinarily, why? If he wasn't coming at any cost to the state, who am I to even give a toss, pardon my French, about it? But there are implications also.
What are the implications?
Of course, state security and all that. You can't discount the fact that the president is using his brother's plane. Like I said, ordinarily, it wouldn't be an issue. But it's because of the politics that we play around some of these things. Okay. So now we are being told that the aircraft is coming at no cost to the state.
The only cost is the fueling and then also the landing rights.
Explanation, even at the time that it came in, was rather belated. It was in response to people challenging the original statement that had been put out there that it came at no cost to the state. And so if it's coming at a cost to the state, how much is it? Okay, apart from the aircraft being pristine, they were told that the president could fly commercial. We argued that it wasn't practical, and I agree. That I don't expect my president to go and sit in Dubai and spend 4 hours transit time. It doesn't make any sense. But the kinds of things that our friends in the NDC said, people even put their future political career on the line and said that if it ever happens, they will resign. They are still in office. They made it an issue. And now, Ibrahim, well-established businessman, he has the capacity issues are being raised as to what benefit that he is getting because of the use of the aircraft. Right? And so you would get the minority to respond in the manner that they are doing, to seek the constitutional body to then provide clarity on whether indeed and in fact this act of the president using his brother's plane, his brother who is benefiting or participating in government contracts, and legitimately so, he is a Ghanaian. Okay, he has every right to participate in whatever business that, people of Ghana can participate in. I really don't have any problems with it at all. But the circumstances surrounding the use of the aircraft and the benefits that he's getting, and I'm sure we'll go into the detail of how the inconsistency in the communication from government itself is raising questions that has to be answered. So, for example, you say that in 2024, a certain process was commenced for the transfer of Goldfield's interest to engineers and planners. Okay. Then people all of a sudden are told that, well, we're going to put the strategic investor on tender. And the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources actually issued a statement saying that the lease that is expiring on 18th of April, right, which we are told a process commenced in 2024 to transfer that interest to engineers and planners. Now the ministry is going to put that process to get a strategic investor in 3 weeks. Even road construction, they can't find contractors to do through a tender process and have to go through sole sourcing. So if this process started in 2024, like we're being told, why are we now putting it on tender? Is it because people have raised issue about the involvement of the president's brother? That's why they are starting this process. And so it raises all sorts of questions.
Well, we've seen two other companies.
Ordinarily, and in fact, we've seen equipments that have been procured already and are being transported to the West. And last Sunday, when I was driving from Takrady, I saw huge articulated trucks with huge equipment that are being transported to the Takwa enclave. We are told that all those belong to engineers and planners. Okay, so is it a process that is continuing from 2024, or it's a process that is about to start with the new tender that they are? So these are
but
questions.
Is there an
that
element of conflict of interest there? Because that's really what the question is.
So you see, if you read the text of the Constitution, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama is not a public officer.
Sure.
Strictly speaking.
Yes.
But his brother is. And so, is he benefiting from some indirect conflict as a result of his association or the position of his brother? I believe that Shraj is in a better position to answer that question. That's why the minority is putting out the statement saying that they are working together with some private sector people, civil society organizations, to go to Shraj so that they can provide clarity on some of these issues that are emerging. Yeah.
Thank you. The element of conflict of interest is the focus of the question to Shraj. Based on what is at play, do you see anything of a sort in there?
I think we should just be very fair to the reality. I think the heart of this is sitting on Article 284 of Ghana's Constitution, which prohibits public officers from placing themselves in situations where personal interest conflicts is or is likely to affect. Yes,
that's what you see on the screen.
And it's quite a very broad one. Conflicts of interest is not actual. It's not about reality. It's more about the optics. So we don't just say we are not conflicted, but how the public sees us is even more important than whether we are actually conflicted or not. So you have to be very careful.
No, that's not true.
Oh,
so well, you see, the element is that
again,
conflict of interest is actually
actual
in
conflict.
three levels.
I'm saying that. I'm saying that
Unless you're dealing with apparent conflict of
Apparent conflict of interest. Apparent. I'm saying so. It's what I'm saying here is that governance must not just be seen to be responsibly undertaken. It must not just be responsibly undertaken. It must also be seen or manifested, as the law says. He said, "Well, justice
must not only be done, but it ought to manifest to be done.
But it has to be done.
The same thing extends to governance. So there is a need for government officials to be cognizant of that reality and guide their conduct accordingly. In this particular matter, you'll be definitely looking at a benefit test. Did the president receive a benefit either in kind or financially from a person with whom he has business before the state? You'll be looking at relational influence. Is the provider of the benefit someone whose benefit business dealings could be affected by presidential decisions? My brother, let's be real. Relational wise, there's an issue. Benefit wise, there apparently looks like there could be an issue. But we have to also be real to our lives. If Ibrahim Mahama cannot qualify to own and run a mine in Ghana, who will? He's the biggest contract miner. He has depth and history. And for a country seeking to start holding and internalizing its economic levers, we should be having our own people at the forefront of our economic anchor. And gold today is the lead of it all. I am proud and happy to see engineers and planners and any other Ghanaian who has built that level of depth and capacity in the forefront of saying. But the president must help the situation. Whatever you do, you can't change the fact that Ibrahim's brother is John Mahama. Ibrahim can't say, because you are president now, you are no more my friend. The two of them are hanging out together every time. They've been brothers. This is how deep they are. So what will happen? Mesa is my friend, he's my brother. Because he becomes a minister, he stops being my brother and my friend. No. But we must manage what we show relative to the office. So I honestly believe that the president meant well with the issue about the private jet. The reasons will be well articulated, but I think that they should have been a bit more cognizant of the optics of it, because you're not dealing with John Mahama as a person. You are dealing with the presidency as an institution. I only pray that the minority don't over push this with the practicality and reality of what it is. I mean, the MPP were able to appoint a brother, appointed his own brother as minister. Remember that? Kufuor appointed Ado Kufuor, but he was a competent guy. Ibrahim is competent at what he does. The key thing we really encourage the government to do is to be deliberate, intentional about the objectiveness of the process in the consideration of the Namai mine. In my opinion, if you ask me to choose anybody, I'll choose Ibrahim any morning. All right, because of what I know him to have achieved. But the government must be very intentional about an arm's length engagement, about an objective process in there. They must go far and beyond what is regularly required for any of us sitting here because of the particular circumstances that is before them.
Just to do what? To, as it were, clear any doubts or suspicions?
Absolutely. Again, like I said, and I mean, and the Senator has corrected my use of the terminology. Apparent conflict of interest. And like you see, governance is required not just to be done right, but actually be seen to be done right, because it encourages proper behavior. And the president in this matter, he is on the table. So he must make sure he takes every step to create an extremely objective process, way beyond in the consideration of Ibrahim Mahama's proposals whatsoever. The president must be seen so far away from it. Try and boost a lot more independence in the consideration process, transparency in that particular instance. When you do that, everybody, because look, I don't know who will beat, which Ghanaian would easily beat Ibrahim Mahama on a matter like that. Maybe Rockshaw is also doing well. I mean, Kwesi Foridems are also doing fantastic. I mean, we commend Ed Mark and all their people. But Ibrahim has shown depth and capacity. He's a competent person for that. And I think that the minority should be happy to have a man that looks like us. And not a new month that we give multiple. Oh, but it's a fact. I'm not insulting anybody.
So, I'm not saying you are. I'm only saying to you.
We should lead our team.
You can make the point without having to say that.
Say that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I don't want any white man coming.
No.
Mama, come
Dr. Zato, because conflict of interest is in 3 levels as far as we do know, and based on what the law says. Perceived, could be real, or it could be apparent. With the situation under consideration now, under these 3 arms of, or these areas of conflict of interest, where exactly does it fall?
Yeah, thank you very much. And so this is it's a clear-cut issue, and it's as bright as daylight. No matter how you dissect this issue, no matter how you trisect, multisect it, no matter the spin you put on it, it reeks of serious conflict of interest. No matter what you do, no matter the HR or no matter the PR you do about this thing, you cannot wash away the stench and the smell of conflict of interest that you've seen seeping into our governance system. Where? Especially because of something. When this president came into power, he tried to raise the bar of governance. He made a deliberate point by saying that part of the problem that we had with the previous government was that governance in and of itself had fallen. The public trust in government had fallen down. So he raised the bar. One of the first things he raised by the bar was to launch what's called a code of conduct of book. The first time any sitting president has done that.
Governance code of conduct.
Code of conduct. To say that, look, I want to hold my people to a higher standard. Not the normal constitutional or legal requirements. No. But I want to put another higher standard because I expect more from them. One of the key requirements of that is that no public official, no appointee should accept a gift from anybody more than 20,000 cedis. So you travel a lot, we travel a lot. A day. We travel a lot. How much does it cost to sit in a, how do you call those things at the airport that you go and sit, a special place, the
lounge.
The lounge. How much does it cost to sit at the presidential lounge in Dubai for 4 hours, for 3 hours? How much does it cost?
No,
I'm making a point. I'm making a point. Now, if you are going on your with your president, that means you don't have to pay for that lunch. That's a gift to you. How much is that? So very soon, at the heart of this thing, this arrangement takes a train through the heart of the president code of conduct. If tomorrow we catch a minister taking 20,000 cedis from his brother or from a friend, will that minister be fired? Can you refer to this code of conduct? The idea, it puts you, and that is the point, it puts you in that position. The fact that we are even talking about it, the fact that it's been happening means that you have already been compromised, it already puts you there.
What do you
it's
mean?
Not that no, because it's happening already.
How do you relate that
There's
to
another
what
issue
I'm
here.
talking about?
There's this other proverb that I like to mention all the time. People may say it's repetitive, say that your roasted yam is making your mouth what? Dark. NDC, when they were in opposition, roasted the yam. And we saw what they said. The presidential jet is pristine. You said it. We will not use private jets. You said it. You condemned it. Dr. Kalisus issued a statement. That statement was beautiful. I loved it. He made that compelling case about how a president is trying to be both parsimonious in the judicial use of public resources while also dealing with the daily issues of his diplomacy, safety, and all that he's doing. He said that, and you could see that he said, look, I am in the room when decisions are being made. And I can understand how the president struggles to make this decision. One, the president is struggling because he knew it raises the issues of conflict of interest. But the question I ask is, what about Akufo-Addo? Wasn't he a president? Didn't he also have to go through those difficult decisions? There are people in Akufo-Addo's office who can also tell you that they were there when he was also making those decisions. And that he also felt the same weight. But what did we do? We poo-hooed all those justifications. Was it because we don't care about Akufo-Addo's life? Was it because we think that his life is not worth it? So how do you today then justify the fact that because of safety, security, diplomacy, and every thing that the president has to do is justified to use a private jet? But then because of these same things, Akufo-Addo was not justified to use it. The God of Akufo-Addo is a living God, and he will continue to live God.
So the two situations you juxtapose.
Yes.
One, was a private jet that was being paid for.
Yes.
And the other now is a private jet that belongs to the brother of the president being used for free, and the cost to the state is the fueling.
Yes.
So there are two different situations.
So
You don't
far,
have to
no,
just
they're not different.
put
Why Akufo-Addo was put in a position to use a private jet? That position was that the presidential was not fit. If it was, he would use it. The president is currently also being put in a position to use the jet because the president is not fit. The common denominator here we are being told is that the presidential is not fit. But that wasn't what we were told. We were told that it was in pristine condition. You came and you repaired it. How much did it cost to repair that presidential jet in France? You went to France, you repaired it, you brought it back. How much did it cost? In the name of transparency. How much did it cost? So if the fundamental, the bottom rock, the common denominator was that presidential just was unfit, then Akufo-Addo was justified to. But if the common denominator it was fit and that he was being frivolous, then His Excellency too is being what? Frivolous. Either way, you cannot condemn one and then praise one. Because both of them then today, the barest one could say that they both put themselves in a position where they are not being parsimonious with the scarce resources of this country. That is not what we voted to do. My point is that the biggest problem we have is people trying to justify why the current president should and can use presidential jets. Meanwhile, the former president can't and shouldn't justify that. When you do that, you are being disingenuous and you are weaponizing hypocrisy. Either they shouldn't both use it, or they should use it sparingly, or you can then make that case that yes, the president goes on the presidential jet, and I'm coming back to the thing.
You mean a private jet, not a president.
Private jet, and that's the case. So right now we have not even been told what is the current state of the presidential jet. It went to France. How much did it cost to repair it? Where is it now? What is being used for?
I saw it in Takrady recently.
Thank you. How come it's only the president who uses it and the vice president doesn't use it, or does she also use it?
No, how do you make a statement that how come it's the president who only uses it? Do you know if the vice president?
So far, other people use it.
No, we've not been told. As the vice president,
it's not that you don't know.
No, they've not been announced. That's transparency. That's part of the transparency issue we are talking about. We should raise it now.
The fact that you don't know doesn't mean it doesn't happen. There are two different.
No, so you can provide evidence show that there's something traveling outside. Have you for official duties? Okay. So let's talk about the cost. One of the issues that also been told is that we only pay for the fuel. So that means that a presidential jet leaves.
No, that's not what we said.
What do we pay
the running expenses? I think the fuel, the landing fees, all those things.
How much is that? How much have we paid? Don't we deserve to know? As a country, in the name of transparency, don't we deserve to know how much it costs to transport our president from one place to another? It's possible that if we knew and did the numbers, it would be more expensive than Akufo-Addo taking a private jet. It's possible. In that case, Akufo-Addo would be more possible.
It's the same like a presidential jet landing. You pay about the same fee.
The point I'm making is that we don't know. Do you know how much it costs?
No, that would be material.
Wait, I'm saying it's material.
Because a plane is landing. You pay the fees.
You do realize that. You do realize that. You realize I chose not to heckle you when you're talking, right?
No, but I think that if you are raising the issue,
it's an important. I'm saying that
it's a matter that needs to be questioned.
Yes. I'm saying that if you're so look, either way, I think that arrangement stinks. I think that we should stop it. I think that we should focus. We should focus and say that we need a presidential jet. And now something else has also happened. When Akufo-Addo said we need a new presidential jet, we said he was a lie. He was just trying to fly in the air and chill. But right now, we have all agreed, we've come to the realization that the country needs a presidential jet.
So
for me, that's one of the good things. One of the good things now, we now agree that his argument, his debate, his distance for president was not because he wanted to be chilling, but we own it. And that is a good realization.
It's the luxury of it. The bathing in the skies, etc.
So you mean this one doesn't have luxury? You mean the presidential?
As far as this one is not bathing.
It's not bathing. How do you know? No, let me go. No, I want to come. No. I mean, look, see, this is the point. This is the point, Kebu. When you try to trivialize one thing and hype another one, it raises the issue. You understand? You cannot say that bath in the sky one doesn't make. Do you know? Have you been in the jet before?
Oh, this one is.
No, have you been in it before?
I can't tell.
No, have you stayed in that jet before?
Okay.
How do you know you cannot bath in the sky? No. So let's get back to the issue.
No, hold on.
It's possible.
Hold on.
Sometimes the hypocrisy that exposes. What do you mean? How do you mean cannot bath in the sky? What is wrong with that?
None of you is being hurt.
No, I'm saying what he's saying.
So end your point.
The point is that you try to take any moment to demonize Akufo-Addo. Meanwhile, praise this guy, which is not fair here.
Which guy are you talking about?
Him. He tries to demonize Akufo-Addo. He tries to bath in the air. Meanwhile, John Mama doesn't try to bath in the air. Who told you that? What if he doesn't like to bath? What if Muhammad doesn't like to bath when he's
but
traveling?
that's
no, it's not. It's important. Let's now come. So let's move it down to what? The issue of what? The demand mine. Look, it's patriotic to say that we want all our natural resources to remain with Ghanaians.
Agreed.
It's patriotism. And I'm not against that. But as a country, we must also then come to realize something. When we want to promote that either as a deliberate policy or not, there will be that conflict between politicians and businessmen. Because a good number of them are related by blood or distance or so, or by friendship. They will come into contact. When that happens, we should not just demonize them because we think that it can be. Look, Data Bank was a this country long before Akufo-Addo became president.
Yeah.
Data Bank was doing business with government before Akufo-Addo became president. Yeah. What didn't we say about Data Bank? Is it not a Ghanaian bank?
No, that was a different matter.
No, you say
we have created some
Senor, you are heckling me a lot. I don't heckle you.
No. I think that you see when you raise a matter,
I'm raising this. Yes, I know.
The fact that you raise an argument doesn't
he's allowed to heckle.
mean
Okay, later. I just want to.
No, it's not heckling. It's not heckling.
So it is. It may be different. It's true that it may be different under any circumstance, but ultimately the point of their similarities is this: it has to do with the relatives of politicians doing business with government and sometimes running into their relatives. That is the broader issue. That's the common denominator here. It will happen if we want to, even if we take a deliberate policy, purposive policy to advance local Ghanaian businesses. When it happens, we shouldn't demonize these businesses.
Okay.
When it happens, we shouldn't demonize the people. We demonize Ken Ofori-Atta, we demonize Data Bank, and now we are trying to demonize EMP. I will not join the brigade to demonize the EMP. Issues are happening. The minority has petitioned Shiraj. Let Shiraj do their work and let's establish. But then those who demonized Data Bank in the past, those who demonize any small company, how are you feeling? How is business today? How do you use the same map to demonize Data Bank today, and today you are not paying? It's not nice. Let's make a deliberate policy to encourage local Ghanaian businesses, and that these businesses must do their business in an ethical, professional, and legal manner.
Okay,
we should
thank
do
you
that.
very much. Mr. Senano, on this matter, because you see, and I keep going back to the exact reason why the minority is going on this path. And Honorable Japan Mesa mentioned what could be the trigger points. But the question to Shraj is this. Is there any element of conflict of interest there?
So far, I haven't seen an actual conflict of interest. And let me explain this. I've heard a lot
all
of
the scenarios?
No, there is an apparent. Mm-hmm. There is an apparent. We've talked about transparency, legitimate issue of concern. That's not the same as conflict of interest in terms of technical definition. We've talked about hypocrisy and fairness. Fair enough to discuss that you said this that time, you are saying a different thing now. And I have said that the politicians will avoid weaponizing and demonizing technical concepts because it will come to haunt them. This is a good example. We dealt with one earlier. This is another example where we are, if we follow this trajectory too, intensely, in a few years, we'll come back to this discussion. Let me say this. Conflict of interest is not a vague, ambiguous concept. It has a definition. It is a situation where the personal interest of a person conflicts and compromises their public function or public decision-making. And so the test is, what is the public function or decision that has been compromised or impaired by a particular personal interest? So far, in terms of the minorities, whatnot, they have not been able to clearly define which public function has been compromised or impaired by these personal interests. And I'm saying that until and unless we are able to settle on those issues, we haven't yet gotten to the issue of potential conflict of interest or actual conflict of interest. But that apparent conflict of interest, yes, there's an appearance, something, it may be real or not real. They are entitled to that. And a good place to go and say, is something happening or not, is tried. So that is good for us. It expands good governance. It allows the presidency and everybody to be held accountable. I think it's a good way to approach it. But for the issue of potential conflict of interest, they need to define for us, is the president going to be sitting on the committee that decides on how the Mangma will go or come or not? Is he the one who is going to have the final say? And his decision being compromised? If you don't answer that, to connect the two will seem a stretch. It's tenuous at best. But a real connection, I cannot see it. So yes, at apparent conflict of interest, there is a likelihood. There appears that there might be something. Let's test it. The test is that the facts should show that there is a public decision, a public function that is being impaired or compromised by the personal interest of the president.
It is the apparent realm of conflict of interest that Senior makes the point
Which is
about.
fine.
Makes the point about the optics, okay, which is also a big part of governance. And
I like that, because what we are saying is that all public officers, which is what the Constitution says. However, you know, not too long ago, we lost some of our family in a plane-related event. And as I've reflected, I was like, if I'm the president, and for whatever security reasons, I feel more comfortable with A rather than B, and maybe that's not yet in the public domain, it is something that all of us should keep in mind. I'm trying not to get into, you know, this may be speculative, but I'm just saying that when we start talking about travel modes and security, and we may not have all the information, we should be cautious when we go down that trajectory. It's another place where let's not weaponize things that we should be cautious about, because you don't know what else they may be aware, what other factors are being considered. If they can be transparent on all those details, it helps all of us draw the right conclusion. But for now, as far as potential conflict of interest, which is more substantive, and actual conflict of interest, I don't see that we have reached there. And therefore, there's not a substantive issue on the table for me.
And it is the Shraj investigation or inquiry
Exactly.
that would answer whether there is actually real conflict of
Whether
interest.
there's potential or actual. Those are where
potential
you
or
are really
actual.
there, but apparent or apparent. I think the apparent, they are likely to say, yeah. I mean, once somebody is raising it, the optics are suggesting that. But that is not a crime. Apparent is not a crime. It's not something to then say, hey, you've done something wrong. You are guided, you are encouraged not to even get yourself there.
If we have,
Actually, okay, General,
I just
hold
want to
on.
add to that.
I need to move to Lamat Pebo as well.
If we have a case together in the judge.
Relax. Lamat Pebo on this, because I think that the point that Adam Senanu makes is about this being in the realm of an appearance of conflict of interest. And taking into consideration the fact that the appearance of it in itself it's not a crime, that's number one, but then also has a governance effect when you look at the optics effect, which Senior referenced. Is that one that should be of concern, especially like from where you sit, even though the position of the law is clear? But then again, to the extent that for the optics, it would raise some questions. Should it be looked into?
Yes. So from what we're saying, apparent conflict of interest is also conflict of interest. Okay? It's also conflict of interest because there are types. The real, likely, and then the apparent, the one that appears to. What does it appear to the eye to be? So Shraj frowns on that one too as well. Yeah, Shraj, in their rulings, they say no, apparent to creates a problem. So yes, when you read the constitutional provision 284 like this, you won't see the word apparent written there. But when you read the Shraj rulings, right, you see that they mention specifically that apparent conflict of interest is also anchored in Article 284 of the Constitution.
Yeah.
So from what's happening, I think basically, I think we are all agreed that it's looking very tacky. It's not looking clean, right? It's not looking clean. Even though, I mean, it appears we are getting a benefit as a state. It appears it's cheaper. So for me, I'm sure if we're to go into the numbers, we'll see that he's using the brother's private jet. It's cheaper for us. That's why they adopted it. There's no way you would do the numbers and find out that the use of Ibrahim's jet, it would cost us as much as the jets that Ekufado was renting. There's no way. From the little insights I have, this is cheaper. That's how come I believe the president is doing it. But looking at it, because it creates that perception that Ibrahim Mahama will benefit because his brother, the president, is using the jet, maybe we would have to put an end to it. Yes, because otherwise, some of the chats I'm reading, one of the texters asking me that, is the argument being made that if JM doesn't sit in Ibrahim's jet, Ibrahim will not get a government contract. Is that the argument? You see, I'm bringing, we ask viewers to send their perception.
Absolutely.
And Senor made that point too. That look, they are brothers. I mean, so whether he uses the jet, no, I haven't landed. We are just bringing in. That's not my point. So this particular point.
Imagine you drinking with a pito with a judge.
Yes.
When I have a case with that judge.
Yes.
So you come and you're passing, you see me drinking pito with the judge, and then the next day we all appear before him.
That's it. It's concluded that this it's terribly wrong, right? Unfortunately, but this example you've given, you see, I'm not encouraging it. But I know in the U.S., some of the Supreme Court judges, they were going on flights with Dick Cheney, the ex-vice president. Cheney, and then they were going and playing golf and eating fees and all those things. It's in the book.
Especially Clarence Thomas. And he he accepted a lot of gifts from. Clarence Thomas.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that example is given in the U.S. They have a lot of it, but they've not sacked those judges. It happens.
Puts them in that perspective.
Martin, what exactly is the public decision or function that has been impaired? I still don't see it.
So what they say is that the president controls all the contracts. That's the argument.
That's a very loose.
Yes.
It's a very dangerous slope.
No.
Because then all our family and friends cannot do anything.
But that was the argument against family and friends government.
And I'm saying
that is always the argument against family and friends.
And I've always had a problem with the family and friends.
So let's stop
because Martin is my friend.
Thank you.
I have known Martin since 99 or whatever it is. All right. I know him. We have advocated together. And you are saying that if I'm president,
then the public gets to see.
I'm saying that.
All the things we said about
Because you were talking about weaponization. Family and friends was weaponized against Akufo-Addo for 8 years. It was weaponized against every instance.
Yes. I think you continue down that trajectory.
Oh, now we should change. Now we should change.
It's not fair to the MPP. It's not fair to
Thank you. A number of your messages have received. Let lawyer Martin Kpebu end the point. Lawyer Martin Kpebu, your microphone is off. Thank you.
Okay. So from what citizens are saying, I think it's very clear that we want to put a stop to it. Yes, that much I can see, so that it will end all the accusations. Notwithstanding the fact that whether he sits in the jet or not, Ibrahim can get contracts.
Okay.
When he sits in the jet, Ibrahim can get government contracts. If JM doesn't sit in the jet, Ibrahim can still get government contracts.
So what's the difference?
Yes, but you see, that's why even Bible itself says that we should avoid such appearances. Is it Thessalonica? Let's go back. Yes, let's just avoid it. First Thessalonica. No, Mr. Okanse,
what memory verse are you talking?
There are 3 Bible quotations. Let's just stop. Because let's go. There are a number of Bible quotations. First Thessalonica. Let's go, and then we'll come to Thessalonica, right? Let's come. This in Thessalonica. Thessalonica is a town, right?
Yes.
It says that that's First Thessalonians 5:22. It says, abstain from all appearances of evil. Okay? Yes. Abstain from all appearances of evil.
But there's no evil here.
But there's appearance of.
You yourself said that there's an appearance. Then let's go to.
No, if you do that, the very thing we are saying we should stop doing. Because I align with Lawyer Mercer when he says we ought not to have weaponized this. So let's do the education right.
Which is?
The education is this, really. In terms of the fact that he's sitting in a brother's play, there is no crime. It's not as if there is a...
But nobody has said that.
So don't allow the public to go on that.
Thank you.
The appearance, let's be sure yourself, you said that there's an issue of appearance. So what the public and this is what I say that the jet, what you're saying is that then it means that you get government contract at suboptimal rate.
It's not true.
Yes, that's you are talking about the truth. But saying the optics.
If we go with the optics, you are going to deny this country the opportunity of taking advantage of the competencies.
Not necessarily.
So they are just saying that he should stop sitting in the jet so that there will be no public
So what's the
appearance.
alternative? What's the alternative?
so
Then it means that we have to go to the no.
Yes.
No.
Thank you.
Let's come.
Let him
Mr. Senator, it looks like you haven't heard that side. They are saying, they are not talking across the table. Everybody is saying Ibrahim has to be given the contract for that man. I think that's what everybody is saying. But they're saying that to avoid the perception that it's been cooked for him, it is a sweetheart deal, etc. His brother should stop sitting in the jet. That's the argument. That don't sit in the jet, because the more you sit in it,
That is when
because
it's
as for Ibrahim's competence, now I think we all agree, and especially as if we give it to foreigners, the money is being taken out. I think now as citizens.
It's the same with data bank confidence.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, do we have a minute on data bank? So
1 minute.
data bank didn't have a track record in issuing bonds. That's my point. This guy, Ricky Hagan came and sat here and said they took data bank and Toby Afede as apprentices. But as soon as the Ekufuado came, data bank suddenly became the big master, got the boys, and was now issuing bonds.
The data master is not the same.
Exactly. So data bank didn't have a track record. Ibrahim has a track record as a good contract miner. Data bank didn't have that track record.
Thank you very much. Your microphones are off.
Your competencies.
No, hold on.
Competencies as well. The key problem with it was a bit of what the market saw as an obvious bias. Which
And
again,
also they hadn't issued, they hadn't led the issuance of any government bond.
Yeah,
they hadn't led
at the time.
They were, so that's the point. They didn't have that track record. Let's be verified. They didn't have that track record. They had never issued any bonds, and yet these guys kept throttling us and lying to us that they had a long history. That's that falsehood I want to debunk.
That was
they
on the
didn't
Euro
have that
bonds,
track
on the
record.
Euro bonds.
Yes, that's the Euro bond we are talking. They never had that track record, and yet we were fed with falsehoods. That's the point. So please, Dr. Zato, the two are not the same. Here, Ibrahim is an accomplished
Has he got the competence in managing a mining firm? I'm asking. I don't understand.
It's a contract miner, but you see,
it means he mines for the owner of the concession. That's the same.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. There are quite a number of your messages.
Himself that he's mining.
Dr. Kojo Aka Kwating says, good morning, Alfred. EMP is already a contractor service provider to Goldfields, Takwa, Damang. So I suggest that the new equipment moving to Takwa area by EMP should not be quickly construed as a step to take over the Damang mine. I don't think that's what the Japan says. He saw the equipment moving to.
Yeah.
So he says, I think we should rather wait and see how things pan out. That's exactly what we're waiting for.
So right now the bidding is going on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for us, at the end of the day, what is very key is that we want optimal value, like value for what? Money. That's the key thing. Value for money, and as long as it remains in Ghana, not that foreigners should come and take and go. So value for money, and it should be Ghanaian, and that's why even Buzia. Prime Minister Buzia said what? Ghanaians must take what? The commanding heights of the economy.
And then let's talk about domestication. I agree with you.
Thank you very much.
Once we get value for money.
The president is not sitting on the committee taking that decision on the mind. So there's no conflict of
Oh, no.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a key point. Your microphones are off. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 27. Gentlemen, hold on. Please. Please. No.
Who said that?
Thank you.
They were accusing you.
Yes.
Please, gentlemen. Thank you.
Today we are
Stop. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and on DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. We're on the Voice of London radio in the heart of the city of London, and Voice of London television as well. This one here from our viewers in the diaspora says, good morning, Alfred and your guests. It says, Dr. Zasto is talking this way because he wants to be elected as parliamentary candidate for Sisala East.
He has confirmed it.
So that's an objective, and which is...
It's okay, it's a good one. He said amen.
Okay.
Inshallah. But you've indicated your interest, no?
Exactly. Inshallah.
Thank you.
Publicly too.
Oh boy. This one, Kofi Mensah from Asin Sibenso. it's funny for anyone to think President Mahama will only remember Ibrahim is his brother to give him an edge in a contractual bid by sitting in his private jet, which says it says a lousy conclusion, you say. Thank you very much for your message. This one is, I understand why Honorable Ejapamesa will raise a question about what Shraj should be looking into. Shraj being invited into this matter will bring some finality to all the speculation. I agree with him perfectly on this. Thank you very much for your message this morning. We're going to go for this quick break. When we're back, Musa Dankwa is with us in the studio. He put out something earlier in the week, so we would look at that briefly. I said, I know you're going to take leave of us, so thank you. Okay. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming. Adam Sedano is the chairperson of the African Union Advisory Board Against Corruption. And locally, he is the co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. So he's a local, continental man. As well. He's not a village champion. He's a continent. Who is a village champion? He's an international champion. We'll be back. We'll be back. Stay with us. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly after this.
Shasie ne planu Easter holiday no Dubai na debia waka wasem sasa wunyanka abekono ho afei enambre no aben ni senti Onya TV any Global Wings Travel and Tour and na kabomu omudi ejoma ho for season 3 rena no etufa ediako Dubai on the 3rd ekosi on the 8th April Branebeka Global Wings Travel and Tour ho wabra yede utokwa akọ Dubai na wako chiweni na relax ho se Easter die Yesu Kristo ewu asori no ewu asori dia eye nije nkoa se wanko bia obebon sanopa packages we die anu odiye se wokwa benyina no sika kuma bi na obetia baby a obeda eka ho aduane a obedi UAE visa yede obetintin bia ye bebre eho sika sam nyina ebomu baako a ohaw bia enyi etri bomodi se
Welcome back. Welcome back to Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7. As always, my outfit this morning is by Cogra Clothing. Is the best version of you. Can find them on the Spintex Road, opposite the Allied Oil Filling Station. For this outfit and many others you see me wear on Key Point on Saturdays, call them on 0244 238 341. 0244 238 341. Alhaji Bini Yuri Bushali in Savelugu. I read your message to Dr. Zatuso. You've sent it quite a number of times. Alhaji, thank you. The man who put this together is the lead researcher for the Global Info Analytics. Musa Dankwa is joining us. Musa Dankwa, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
Please come as we do it. I've had to skip through a number of things.
Yes.
But let's just establish the sample size that you use for this, so that we get the dynamics going.
Okay. This is the methodology and approach.
The methodology and approach. So you have a combined face-to-face telephone, web, almost over 11,500. That's 11,572.
Yes.
Respondents to the survey. And what was the margin of error on this one?
Margin of error for the face-to-face is smaller, 1.44.
Okay.
Margin of error for the telephone is 2.58. Margin of error for the web is 3.3. So average, about 2.4% margin of error.
And within which period did you conduct this?
Between 5th March to 23rd March.
5th March to the 23rd of March. So it's quite recent.
Yes, quite recent.
Today is the 28th. So
Yes.
you ended this 5 days ago.
Yes.
Okay. So now there are quite a number of things at play. So for the sake of time, we're doing this in two parts. Today and next week. Today we're focusing on the direction of the country. But these are the respondents. You have more NDC people than MP.
Yes.
Why?
On the street of Ghana today, if you ask voters which party do you support or would you normally vote for, those who openly say NDC, it is 45% today, openly,
Right.
tell you. MPP openly, 25%. Floating voters openly, 17%. Other political parties openly, 3%. And I will not disclose my party to you, it's now 10%.
I see. But then what's interesting in this is that you have the NPP in December 2025, those who openly said we're going to vote for the NPP if elections were held within that period.
No, let's make correction here. This is about who would you vote for.
Or
Which
who
party
you
do
affiliate with.
yourself with, yes.
Dropped from 26 to 25%.
Yes.
I see. And they didn't give you any reason?
No, we don't have them reasons.
Anyway, interesting. And then you see the floating voters as well.
17% now.
Now. And then you ask them a question about the direction of the country, and that's going to be our first stop for today. 66% of the respondents as of December 2025 said the country is on the right direction. That's dropped to 65, relatively insignificant if you ask me. But then you look at this, those who say in the wrong directions, it's increased from 24 to 28% between December and March 2026.
Correct.
I see. So, but then this is a reflection of those who said they had no opinion, now having an opinion that the country is in the wrong direction.
Correct.
What does that tell you?
It tells you that people are getting a bit jittery. Look at the horizon. These responses reflect the sentiments of the people at a time. Looking into the country's future, near-term future or immediate future. In terms of price stability, fuel prices, we've begun to see some movement along that line. When that happens, people begin to get a bit anxious and it will begin to reflect. And also, some of the sentiments about cocoa issues definitely will begin to feed. And then the sentiments will be reflected in the wrong direction. But as you can see, in terms of direction which says right, marginally changed. But those who didn't have opinion before are now having an opinion being that it's now wrong direction, up 4%.
I see. And then you see this as well, the job approval of the president.
Yes.
So even though, and this is what I want to understand, there are people who are now saying that the country is in the wrong direction, but yet the job approval of the president from this same sample size is higher.
Yes, if
Why?
you look at the data, there's a strong correlation between approval and direction of the country. If you go back to approval, it's 65% right direction.
Yes.
Approval is slightly higher than that,
67%.
67%. There are people who may say that, oh, things are not going well, but they won't blame the president for that going well. So some will say that he's doing well, but at the same time, maybe economy.
I see. Well, I'm just still trying to make an understanding. I don't know if, gentlemen, you have anything else to say on this part. So far, Dr. Zato, and I'll come to you.
Thank you. As I said, I'm a fan of polling and I'm a fan of science in our body politics, so I like that. So that is good. But just go back to, I want to go back to the slide before this. In the party affiliation slide.
Yeah, this one.
No, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so good. So if you say that, if we get after that, yes, it's true that more people are aligning.
This one.
Yes, are aligning with MDC more than MPP. That is what the data show you. The question is why. We can hypothesize why it's potentially happening. One, a good number of them could be job seekers and they're afraid of victimization. So the guy, even though he does, you are assuring him of all his anonymity and this thing, the guy is something that maybe if I say I'm moving to MPP, it may affect me. If he's a nurse, if he's a teacher, if he's somebody, it may affect him. So it's safer to be on safe grounds to say that I'm afraid of NDC. That could worry. Two, a second reason could be maybe they're also bidding for government contracts and government jobs. And they're also potentially afraid that if they say they won't get the sole source contract that is coming.
That's
so
how you
all this, I'm saying there are potential reasons.
Okay,
I'm not
right.
saying it's possible. Because
Socially
today.
desirable answers.
Yes, exactly. So today, if I'm a teacher, no, I'm being honest. If I'm a teacher,
I can't even find a connection.
no, I'm finding a connection. If I'm a teacher and I'm unemployed, I'm looking for a job.
But you won't need this man in parliament.
Because we've seen people that are alleged to have been of one particular party being refused contracts between jobs. I have one of them just sending me a message right now. My brother, no, I'm just like, okay, let's go. So if genuinely, if I'm unemployed and you call me a pollster, remember, so we sitting here may know that you are promised your anonymity, but they may not know. They may think it's a secret thing. So he tells you that no, because he wants his job. So, I mean, they are playing it safe. So that could be the reason why we are having this, and it's possible. It's also possible that, as I said, the job this thing. Either way, it's good that we have this information, that it helps us to grow. Both parties are right now registering their members. I know that. I will be happy if when they finish, they can publish, they can tell us some of their old statistics. Then we can use it, especially we students of political science and we students of polling, we can learn more from it. So they are collecting data from where it matters. So if that data comes out, I don't think they will, because it's too expensive for them to collect that data. And they may not want to make it public knowledge. But imagine they do. Then we could see what is the NDC actually saying they've collected, and what is the MPU saying they've actually collected, and then we can add it to this, and to broaden our knowledge of the issues.
Thank you. You see, but in elections, in fact, the registered members of both parties are not actually those who, come in total too. So, for instance, if you look at the MPP register, they are not up to the 4 million or more that the presidential candidate of the party gets. Am I right?
Yeah, you are.
You can say same for the NDC as well.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's useful. Save that it is entirely possible that at every point in time, one particular party people will participate in the poll than another. Mm-hmm. Does this include your WhatsApp channel voting?
Let's go.
No, I just want to
look. Methodology. About 70% of the 11,000 were face-to-face interviews across 83 constituencies.
Okay.
Randomly on the street.
Okay. So this is face-to-face.
So the face-to-face party affiliation is no different from the average.
Yeah. But of course, I mean, the face-to-face could be skewed, not deliberately. I'm not impugning any wrongdoing or ill motive. All I'm saying is that it is entirely possible that the people that you interviewed at any particular time were more NDC people than MPP. I don't know, but it's possible. Mm-hmm. Okay. But, I mean, look, as a political party, I believe that any polling that is done should inform how you strategize in making sure that you are able to change it going forward in your favor. Okay.
Yeah.
So to that extent, I think that it's useful. Of course, economy, we all admit that the fundamentals have improved. It started improving post the IMF program's commencement. It has continued into the new government. Things have significantly improved. And so, to that extent, if you see people reflecting the approval of, indicating that the country is going right, that cannot be disputed, really. Okay, and necessarily reflect on the president.
That's the standard of, in fact, what you said reflecting the standard of living,
yeah.
For instance. You see that improved as against December 2025, between December 2025 and March 2026,
yeah.
Increased from 56% to 58%.
Yeah.
Those who say it has worsened has actually increased as well. Mm-hmm. Because then you are having those who said
because like you said, the Iran-US-Israel conflict is increasingly changing the dynamics. We saw.
If you look at the cocoa from pharmacy.
Yes, of course.
It will wobble so much till it settles somewhere.
Yeah.
And so now it's around 50 days to wobble and settle. So it's okay. It's allowed to know that.
I'm not so sure whether at the next pricing window, okay, the fuel pump price will not increase. Okay, because it's hovered around $110 thereabout to the.
Oh, it's largely going to be net neutral.
So these, but of course, Musa is proving to be, even though I see comments on social media trying to undermine the work he does, and I know he's a strong man, and he takes those comments with a pinch of salt. But it's useful. He's
very
playing a very critical role in our
body politics.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we'll work on it going forward. I know that by 2028 these numbers will not be the same.
These numbers will not be the same.
They certainly will not be the same in 2028.
The NDC, we'll see that next week.
Next part of it. And the fight against corruption. Because we talked about corruption-related matters previously. This is what the outcome of the poll is as well. I just want your quick thoughts on it. I'll go to Senior and then Lawyer Martin Pebo. The fight against corruption. This is it.
Of course, there's always new information that is popping up. I'm sure within the time frame that this came up, the disclosure by the Fourth Estate wasn't captured.
Sure.
At his next quarterly poll, that information certainly would be in the public domain. And it would inform how people perceive the fight against corruption.
You see. And because, you see, I expect that the same 60% between December and March 2026, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. But what has changed is the no opinion. Just like the other data.
Yes.
People are now forming opinion from no opinion to no. It hasn't done well. So you can see that there are those about 4% who were thinking that, oh, no, we can't say no opinion now. We'll move from no opinion into no.
But what I'm saying with all the trend is that those who held no opinion are now going to the negative.
Yes.
That's because probably they gave the government 1 year, the holiday movement to govern freehand. So now the policies of the government have now started affecting lives a little more directly. So they are now moving into making opinions. That's probably the reason why.
So say on this quickly.
Yeah, first of all, let's situate this thing properly in science, and I think that our politicians on the table should learn. When Musa Dankwa speaks, they should listen. They should stop insinuating whether you're having people more from NDC to respond or not respond. His processes have been made very public. The productivity of global info analytics has been very evident. And I think that these aspersions and insinuations, we should stop it. And let's discuss them objectively as a public and a political public. Okay. Having said that, it's important information. I think that the government should start getting a little concerned. But it's very normal. When you come a honeymoon, we had a very, very rough start at the beginning. They inherited a very rough, and I love Messer's admission that there's been a lot of progress on the economic side. But very soon after stability, people will not want to just look at stability. People want to really look at productivity and economic transformation for their lives. All right? We had the currency at a certain level, inflation at a certain level. You brought it down very stable. Okay. But how about employment? How about my children? Where's the opportunity? How about my businesses? 133. I mean, one. They say that now has a lot. So let's wait. We should just stop. I don't like. You see, the political jargons in this country are too much, and I keep saying that it is about real life. So we have about 80% of our youth who are either vulnerably employed or unemployed. It is big risk. You understand? And this is the future of our country. Their hope is depleting. What you have just shown them so far is that you stabilize the ship. That's why people are asking real questions. That's why 500,000 people are chasing a job for what? 5,000 people. Why do you have 500,000 of our youth just wanted to be in the and that one is even because there was 200 cities to be paid. If it was free to apply, you will see the number of people who will go. I beg you. People now are going to stop discussing what Nanado was like. People are start going to hold this government accountable for their own aspirations as human beings, as Ghanaians, their expectations of governance. And to remember what the Constitution really defines. The issues of prosperity, we build a Constitution, look at the preamble. For us to realize a certain government that to give us what? Prosperity, or equality of opportunity. Are we giving our youth equal opportunity? Are we running government to make sure there's proper prosperity? My brother, real lives are at stake and real questions will start being asked. Nanado is fast becoming history in people's expectations and people's problems about governance. People have issues about accountability. Are you really delivering the accountability beyond the public press conferences and saying, who has been held accountable after a whole year in office? People are not seeing it. We're having conversations with the transport minister about the efficiency of the procurement, about they even reviewing what they did before they even said they were extending it, about you still doing single sourcing, which we are all agreeing somewhat that it's not optimal. People are seeing these things. People start judging you on your own merit. This is the defining year for John Mahama. The real state of his government will be evaluated after this year. Next year is campaign mode. Campaign mode, and there'll be a lot of disruptions. But this is an indication that your honeymoon is over. So please get focused on the substantive issues that affect our people. Production, employment for our youth. We are looking clearly about accountability on the governance side, ensuring equality of opportunity, cutting out protocol or minimizing it and being transparent about protocol things so people know that they have a fair opportunity for them to transfer their lives. Martin, if protocol was the order of the day, you and I will be here. No. My brother, I'm a Saito guy, so I worry about this. My children have something to step on. I didn't. What I had were great values for my parents. And I thank God for their lives and what they've done. People are taking their children through school, struggling to pay school fees. And they come back and they again will still have to be feeding them. Oh boy, no. People want to see real transformation to their lives. We don't want to hear Akufo-Addo. We are done with Akufo-Addo. If anything, Akufo-Addo catch people who you are, we are done.
Yes.
We want to see transformation for ourselves.
That's retirement. Enjoy his retirement.
No. He should regret some of the dealings he did.
Exactly.
He should regret it.
That's why.
He should regret it and start telling people, admitting his mistakes, and teaching these people how not to repeat the things he did.
Exactly. And so on that note, just to end that sentence, he has to tell Ofori-Atta to come back quickly.
He should come back.
Ofori-Atta must come back. Akufo-Addo must lead the charges to get Ofori-Atta to return to Ghana to face justice.
Yes,
that topic is
on the fuel price, because he meant something. I'm a fuel man here. Fuel prices are going to go up. I've just reviewed numbers. I think they are going to go
By
up.
what margin?
Maybe anything around 7 to 10% there.
No, they will ask for the taxes to be taken off. Why?
It will happen.
They will ask for some of the taxes to be taken
those
off.
economic concerns that Mr. on the
The Russia-Ukraine war didn't affect.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. Let
Russia-Ukraine, I will quote for you. Russia-Ukraine had nothing to do. I don't say nothing.
Thank you. We will have this conversation. I promise you.
I want to buy.
I promise you. We'll have this conversation. We'll have this conversation. Thank you. The microphones are off. Yes.
Okay. The fight against corruption, like what I see here, 60%, yes, right? Yeah, that's good. That's commendable, because when you have a lot of citizens thinking that this is good, so this results will tell you that for those who say Ora is dead, this polls is an indication that they were just daydreaming. Mesa and Zato, have you seen? We say Ora Tonsium. You see, 60% of our citizens.
No opinion is as I think that people are not happy with the level of the aura.
Yes.
What is this going to do with
Increasingly.
It tells you that they say government fight against corruption. When you say 60% agree, then it means that
out for sole sourcing. You're not talking about corruption. The money you were supposed to get from from Oral, is it not less than the amount of money that this single sole source alone gave out?
But how much of it have you?
You pocket money, give it to sweetheart deals, to NDC contractors.
Which one?
Thank you very much.
Let's be scientific.
Let's be scientific.
Yes, exactly. Let's be scientific.
People, you are ending in a minute.
You see, like Senor was doing, pick a specific contract, maybe Accra, Kumasi, and show that it should have been X, but the contract is Y. Let's be scientific.
I have the data.
No,
okay, so that tells you that Ora cannot be dead. But let's quickly make this point forcefully.
Right.
I want to remind His Excellency the President, you see two laws. The Code of Conduct against public officers, which we think will help in the fight against corruption. The President in the SONA indicated that they've taken the bill to Parliament. I've sent people there countless times. We can't get copies. Maybe the Speaker should be aware that, look, his people in the systems that you can't get copies of the bill. The Code of Conduct against public. We need to be able to see so that we can make an offer. And also the Constitution says in Article 106. So that's how I'm drawing the Speaker's attention. Also, the Constitution says the Constitution says in Article 106 that before a bill is dealt with in Parliament, it must first have been published in the Gazette. The Gazette is next to Accra Technical University, or if you like Accra Poly. 2 weeks before, we went to Accra Poly, that place, the Gazette, they don't have copies. So let's stop
lied to you.
Thank you very much.
Sammy Jeffrey's birthday. Happy birthday, my brother, my friend, and it was so happy birthday
to all of you.
Wonderful. Yes. Thank you very much.
And yesterday was my junior brother, Reverend Jeremiah Zato. Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday, Reverend.
Thank you very much. And a number of things happening today. The funeral and burial of the two young Ghanaian pilots, Captain Frank Donko and Elijah Ofori Donko, who died in that tragic incident at Tema, is happening today at the forecourt of the State House. And then also today, the 3FM Gobe Festival is happening at the forecourt of the Legon City Mall. We are all going there from here. The Gobe Festival. You have free Gobe to eat as well. So make time and join us. And Accra Academy is having their 95th speech and prize giving day. So as well, all the old boys will be there. Gentlemen, appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming. Senior will say thank you so much, Dr. Zato. We'll have this again. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lawyer Martin People. Thank you.